going on, Jerome's mock draft season is upon us, and sometimes we get questions. Oh, why do you talk about other people's mock drafts? Well, it's a good way to see different perspectives, as well as introduce the people to a bunch of these players that could be in the range for the Vikings in the first round at 24. But of course, we'll probably trade down. That's what happens, man. But Eric Edholm, he of the NFL.com Power Rankings hater and loser. Nah, he's fine. Loved his work back at Yahoo back in the day. Eric Edholm, mock draft 1.0. Let's dive on in. So, no Shedeur Sanders, no Cam Ward up at the top. Abdul Qadir, get this in frame. Yeah. What are we doing here? All right, so Abdul Qadir up there at 1. Tennessee is laying the groundwork of not passing up on a generational talent, and I think it's smart because I don't think the quarterbacks in this draft are going to be franchise guys. Like, they could be, sure, but how confident are you in them? Because to me, if Shedeur and Cam Ward were in last year's draft, they would be quarterbacks 7 and 8 respectively. All right, so Carter up there at 1. Travis Hunter to the Browns. Is he wide receiver? Is he corner? They need help at both. There you go. Giants taking Cam Ward. Sometimes the quarterback tax is too much. And if you're betting on physical attributes, Cam Ward does have the edge on Shedeur Sanders, but of course that isn't the be-all, end-all. All right, and 4, the Patriots got their quarterback. Now they get Mason Graham. It's a hell of a pick, man. I love it. That's their Richard Seymour of this generation type pick. It's great. Tyler Warren goes to Jaguars. Tight end in the top 5. Let's go. Let's go. Of course, Tyler Warren racking up and stacking up those stats. Trevor Lawrence getting a safety blanket. Liam Cohen getting his guy. There you go. Ash Genty at 6. Now, again, it's good to get different perspectives because this is the first draft I've seen Ash Genty this high. But him going to the Raiders really sutures up their run game situation. There you go. Shedeur Sanders going to the Jets. I don't know. Is Deion going to let his kid go to the Jets? Who knows? 8, you got Jalon Walker. Georgia's got some dudes, man. Sorry, they got dogs on that defense, just year after year. And Jalen is another great edge rusher out of Georgia. Tet goes to the Saints. I kind of like it. Big time target for Sam Darnold in New Orleans. Will Campbell. So with Genty off the board, I think that the Bears just have to hammer down on that offensive line. Campbell is going to be a great piece with them long term. Kind of like that one a lot. Membu. So is it going to be a tackle? Is it going to be a guard? That's the main question. Is this a succession plan for Trent Williams? No. Tyler Booker goes to the Cowboys. That's upsetting. Booker, I wouldn't mind Booker at 24 if the Vikings are just going to set it and forget a guard. Now, of course, free agency comes before the draft, and that's greatly going to shape how the board breaks. But, I mean, Booker's going to be that dude, and he's going to step in and replace Zach Martin on day 1. Kelvin Banks, thanks, goes to the Dolphins. So it'd be pretty smart for them to address the tackle situation in Miami. And Aware, now, I love Aware a lot. The pride of South Carolina. He is 6'2" Bob Sanders. Like, he is Cam Chancellor. He's everything, man. He's a ton of fun. And the Colts get a big-time playmaker. Again, 6'2" Bob Sanders. It's fitting for the Colts. Shamar Stewart goes to the Falcons. I love Shamar Stewart a lot. There's so many dudes in this draft. So many guys that would look damn good in purple. Mikael Williams, the other Georgia edge rusher, goes to the Cardinals. Donovan, nailed it, goes to the Bengals. Run on edge rushers as always. Even though the meat of this draft is defensive tackle. Pun intended. Hottie Campbell ends up with the Seahawks in the first round. Matthew Golden goes to the Buccaneers. I kind of like that one as they moved on from Chris Godwin. Loveland, the Michigan tight end 2 off the board. Will Johnson falls all the way to Steelers. If Will Johnson falls this far, I think Kwesi should make a call up. Chargers taking Caleb Johnson. I like that fit a lot. It sucks that he went before the Vikings could go, but I think that obviously Jim Harbaugh wants to run the ball, and Caleb Johnson is going to be great. He can run power. He can run zone. He's a decent receiver as well. J.K. Dobbins probably leaving. Gus Edwards is fine. Kamani Vidal has some spark, but Caleb Johnson and Vidal as like the 1-2 punch, I like that. Josh Simmons going to the Packers as they finally get a decent tackle opposite of Zach Tom. And then at 24, the Vikings taking Derrick Harmon. Another high-energy disruptor. It would only make Brian Flores' defense more dangerous. The Vikings could use more depth up front. And he's not lying. He's not lying about the Vikings' depth. Because not only do the Vikings need to potentially replace Tillery and Bullard. You want guys that can stop the run. You also want guys that can be high-end pass rushers. And Derrick Harmon, I think that he's still developing as a pass rusher, but I think that he is definitely going to be that dude in the National Football League. He's one of those guys that are ascending. So he started out at Michigan State, transferred to Oregon for 2024, and he really got after it this year for the Ducks. Also, if he wanted to bring along his 5-tech friend Jordan Birch from Oregon to the Vikings, wouldn't be mad at that at all. But this season, 5 sacks, 45 tackles, 2 forced fumbles, 55 pressures, a 15.9% pressure rate, which is damn good for a defensive interior, 80.5 PFF run defense grade. Also, he was one of the only Oregon players who did decent in the playoff matchup against Ohio State. Everyone else was kind of ass. Thank you. Lance Zierlein, NFL.com draft profile. Position versatile building block that makes moving the football a much tougher task. Harmon is wide, long, and naturally powerful at the point of attack. He can create traffic jams inside as a 2-gapper or stunt and power his way into the backfield. He's unlikely to be a primary sack man, but he can be part of a swarm unit that batters the pocket. He's high cut and tight hipped, which limits his agility and reactive athleticism to finish. Harmon can play up and down the line in both odd and even fronts. He will bring an instant dose of stinginess and toughness to any defense he joins, and absolutely love it, man. All right, and a powerful anchor, active hands, lunge pill, run defender. He's really going to win over the hearts and minds of fans right away. And like I said, I think that he will develop more as a pass rusher. He's already a great run defender and also can line up at multiple positions in multiple packages and even are on front. So I think that that's a hell of a pickup. Plus, here's what's great. Every single pick after Harmon, I could see as a Viking. Right, and I would be ecstatic to have as a Viking. So the Vikings really are in a trade down situation where, hey, if there's 2 dozen players that you're fine with, move down and get some more draft capital. I know that people aren't going to be happy about it, but that's the name of the game. Gray Zabel, the pride of NDSU, who starred at the Senior Bowl. Donovan Jackson is an absolute stud. Jonah from Arizona could reduce inside as well, but if he goes to Ravens, that sucks. Mike Green goes to the Lions. I hate that. If the Lions somehow end up with Mike Green, I'm going to be so pissed off, but hopefully his testing and hopefully his Senior Bowl, a couple days of practice will be enough to push him past the Lions because it would suck. James Pierce goes to the Commies. Kenneth Grant goes to the Bills. I would love Kenneth Grant at 24. Harmon, whatever they want to do, man. Burden, wide receiver is not really a need, although Addison's going to be suspended. But, I mean, Burden's going to be a stud. Burden goes to the Eagles as their wide receiver 3. Woo! Kind of like it, man. And then Thomas from Florida State, another guy who'd had a fantastic week down in Mobile at the Senior Bowl. It's going to be really good. But the Vikings, I mean, Derrick Harmon, a guy that we talked about a lot, this is the blueprint. The Vikings hammer interior offensive line and cornerback in free agency, and then they go BPA. And, guess what? Sometimes BPA syncs up with your needs. Defensive line, running back. This draft is deep, and it is certainly playable at those positions. So I would not mind Derrick Harmon at all. Anyways, your thoughts are thoughts. Vikings take Derrick Harmon. Pride of Oregon in Eric Edholm's mock draft 1.0. Let us know your thoughts, our thoughts, comment section. You guys know what to do. Skull production value.